Welcome back, guys. We have got trading card talk and an actual video, which is crazy to say, because we've been
live stream.
Yeah, we've been doing live streams all last week, and we also have a very special guest as well. This is Toby.
Hello. Hey.
Hello. And Toby has recently started a new venture. If you want to talk about that and your new channel.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been in YouTube for a while. I might be known as Birdkeeper Toby across YouTube, but recently I've started up Cardkeeper Toby, which is all obviously about Pokemon cards. As part of that kind of expansion of my love of Pokemon. I say expansion. I've wanted to do Pokemon card content since the beginning, but it's never really worked on Birdkeeper Toby. So I've kind of made a little home for it on Cardkeeper Toby, and I've been very inspired by what you guys have been doing as well. It's been really awesome to see just so much love for the trading card game coming across on YouTube, and yeah, just good people working on it, you know?
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I think that's the thing with Pokemon card content before this whole craziness has happened. In general, a lot of people weren't interested. It was like a small minority of Pokemon, wasn't it? And now it seems to be, apart from games, obviously, almost the second biggest.
I think as well, like, no one put the same kind of effort in. So I don't know if we was the first, but we were probably one of the first that actually put like time and money into the equipment and like the setup to be able to just do cards. Obviously, you had Leon Hart on Unlisted Leaf,
Yeah,
but like
big
there
guys.
weren't many.
No, there
especially
wasn't
smaller people putting in like hours and hours to try and make their videos look good, sound good.
One of the big things you guys did that I noticed is you had said that you bought a really good camera specifically for the cards. And when I was talking to my best friend about setting up Cardkeeper Toby, I was saying, look, I got the good camera and I've got the webcam, and I said the webcam's for my face, the good camera's for the cards. He was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, the good camera has to be for the cards. That's the point. Like, that's the whole thing, you know? And yeah, no, it's great. It's just great to see.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. Do you remember our first ever collab?
With
Our first ever collab.
Oh, me and you.
Yeah,
Okay,
me and
right.
you.
Yeah, okay.
So we did I think it was a pack opening.
Yeah.
Or something, and we had like our faces for most of the screen, and then like a small box where our hands were on the screen with the cards in, and everyone was like, "You guys are idiots! Like, we don't care about looking at you, we care about looking at the cards."
And that hasn't changed to this day.
Yeah, people still don't want to see our faces, but yeah. So that's like when we first started doing it properly, we was like, okay, we small, card big.
Yeah.
Simple math.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely works with the submission and return videos. Like, all people really are watching those for is to see what cool stuff is going out to PSA and what cool stuff is coming back graded, especially if they're gem mints.
It's also like the technology that we've got to look at cards. Like, I noticed this is, you know, even when I take a photo of a really nice card that I'm getting kind of excited about, is that it's being displayed on screens and being taken photos of in resolutions that are so intense that you're almost viewing the card in a completely different way to when you do in person. Like, I like that image of, I don't know, I'm not gonna go Charizard. Let's do something a bit more unique. Let's take Ancient Mew, for example. Like, that image, you know, you can take a photo of it and you can stretch it out and you can get every little bit and every angle, and I don't know, viewing it through a lens, especially the nice equipment, is something really satisfying about it.
Yeah. So the way we do it, we kind of have a live monitor, which is 4K next to us, which is quite big. So we're looking at this like 4" by 3" card or whatever. And we look up and there's a card that's like this big in comparison on the screen. We're like, oh yeah, that looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of the
nice
time you'll watch the videos and we're just looking at the screen.
Yeah, because
instead of the
right
card.
in front of us as well is a mic. So we can't, like, right in front of us are hands, and there's a mic in the way of the card, so we can't actually see the card most of the time.
I like the point about the technology, though.
Yeah.
I think cards are very, very Instagrammable.
Yes.
Like, if you think about what they like, you can make them pop, you can put them in different lights, different filters, and because there is so many different arts.
Pull that saturation up. Oh.
I will just,
like,
I'll just follow accounts on Instagram. We were talking about this like literally right before this in terms of like Instagram accounts for nice Pokemon cards. I will just follow those accounts. Like, I don't even care who's running it. I'm just like, wow, that looks pretty. And especially when people put in the extra effort, like to see like a grass Pokemon and then there's maybe some plant pots around it and that kind of thing. There's so many accounts out there that are great for that. But yeah, definitely getting used to the technology and waiting for people to work out how it all goes. When I started, and actually even up until recently, the idea of like kind of having the tripod, the camera's looking down, but it can't look down in a way where it gets the tripod leg and I'm reaching my hands around. And for people to kind of go, well, maybe you just want to get like an arm for the table or something that holds the camera. Like, put in the effort, you know?
So it's like a huge stand that comes off the floor with an arm across it.
Right.
It was probably the first thing I bought.
Yeah, so I don't deal with any of the
Yeah.
tech stuff. Tom just goes, "We need this," and I go, "Okay then."
And then you're like, oh, that looks expensive. And then you see the results.
Yeah,
and
the
it's all
results are
fine,
good.
man.
Results are good.
Uh,
I think if you put the cards front and center
Yeah.
in general, that will keep people interested.
Mm.
And then if you add the personality after that, then in the case of our channel, they run away. But I'm sure in the case of your channel, then with the Birdkeeper Toby channel as well, they'll probably add on to that. It's probably it's a massive draw. You got 2 draws there.
Yes, but I mean, I do think there are people, and especially right now with everything going on in the world of Pokemon cards, there are people who want to, I think, and hopefully we're going to jump into this a little bit over on my channel, which will, I assume, go live at the exact same time as this goes live. There's going to be people who are going to, I think, want to know more about you and what you guys do and how you got into it, and I think there's going to be a lot of that. Like, wait, there's people who grade this, and what are their lives like playing the Pokemon cards all the time? So yeah, I don't know. I think you could definitely afford to put yourselves in the videos a little bit more. People would want to meet you.
I think it's definitely started to kind of be a thing where we've had to work on thumbnails a lot. So obviously that's been like our advice from Randolph is titles and thumbnails. And we've kind of been doing like more, look at us, whoa, card. And then like there's a card on the other side of the screen. I think some people have appreciated it, some people have not. Some people are like, why are you always doing the face? But,
I've
I've only got one pose.
Right.
It's the same.
I've always massively struggled to make that work for Birdkeeper Toby. And like whenever, I mean, you talk about Randolph, right? He's like going to be one of the biggest YouTubers in Pokemon cards right now.
Sure.
And I did this series. I was really interested in just chatting with people about their collections, where they pick stuff up, what are the stories? That's what I'm most interested in. Like, what's the story behind this collection? And Randolph very kindly said, "Yeah, I'll come do that," as he does. And I slapped him on the thumbnail. I took all of his advice. I was like, all right, let's do this. And the video just didn't do well. And I think it was just the people on Birdkeeper Toby were expecting the Pokemon theories and the lore, which is what I cover. And I've always had the point of view that like Ash Ketchum is more famous than Birdkeeper Toby, so let's put him on the thumbnail instead. And they're just not used to that kind of content. So I actually created Cardkeeper Toby literally about 2 weeks before Logan Paul did all his stuff. So I might have missed the timing a little bit. I should have. Good time to start a new channel, but maybe I should have just stuck it out on Birdkeeper Toby a little bit longer. I don't know, but I'm having a lot of fun with the new channel anyway.
I think that's the thing. Like Randolph's Pokemon channel was literally separate. He was like, I don't want this on my main channel. I want this to be where I look at cards. I love cards. So I think it's good that you've done that. And I don't think it'd work if we were. I mean, I know we did the game and live streams, but I don't think it'd work so much if we were just doing gaming and stuff on the channel. More away from like still focusing on cards, even with trading card talk and stuff. It's still focused around card games and collectibles.
But you got a subscriber base, don't you? Any channel has a subscriber base, and they're used to that content. But Randolph Pokemon only started a year ago, didn't it?
So
I mean,
over a year.
So he didn't grow like massively in the first 6 months. Like he grew a lot, but that's because he's Randolph. But
Sure.
I mean, a lot of his growth has come very recently. Obviously, Logan Paul shouting you out as well. But I guess he was right in saying the persistence of having the second channel.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're enjoying it and having fun, then that's the main thing. As long as that comes through on the videos, then naturally it will grow anyway.
Talking about having fun, what are your thoughts on Vivid Voltage?
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you know what? I don't want to sound like a pessimist. I'm a little bit underwhelmed. I've got a lot of friends who are like, I'm going in hard on Vivid Voltage. And I'm like, no, I'm saving my money for February. With Vivid, that's the one. Like for me, Vivid Voltage, I think the amazing rares are really, really cool. But I do think, I see them very much, I think they're better than like maybe the break cards, but maybe worse than the legend cards from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I think it's somewhere in between there is where this sits, and unless they do something really exceptional with it, like have every legendary Pokemon get a amazing rare at some point, I just don't see that people are gonna look back in time and go, yeah, that's something I want to collect loads of. Like maybe
the collectability of it. I really like that point actually. So you can't just have 4 cards. I think that was the problem with Cosmic Clips with the full arts. As much as I love them, there's only ever 6 or 8. But you're right. If they continue a theme of these amazing rares and have all the legends over the course of a year, then that will increase the collectability massively.
Or the whole of the Swish era.
I mean, if they made it so that like, we already know this isn't the case, but like every set had 2 mythical Pokemon across a number of sets. Eventually, if they did all of them, people would go, Oh yeah, I want to. All those amazing rares would be good. I'm in it for because I collect shiny Pokemon, so the Obstagoon, the Oranguru, I'm going for, and that's my main thing in there. But Pikachu, I'm not super fussed about it. The Leon card, Nessa card, Bay, they're all pretty cool. But yeah, the Chonkachu is. I don't know. I've got a booster box coming. I've got an Elite Trainer box. But unless something really captivates me while I'm opening it, I think I'm gonna.
Well, I'm really sad we didn't see the Pikachu VMAX Hyper Sparkly Rainbow Glitter card.
Yeah.
I wanted to see that, but it'll come.
What are you guys feeling about it? You guys excited for Vivid Voltage?
We really liked opening Vivid Voltage. I think
it's a fun set to open.
The amazing rares in person look so much better than the Japanese counterparts.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's one of those things as well. They look so much better without a sleeve.
Yeah,
because we always see them obviously in top loaders or in semi-rigids and in sleeves, but something about pulling one and having that like right in front of you, you're like, oh, that's special.
I do think they have the ability to wow me. Like I think it might be the case that when I start opening them and actually going, okay, wait, I've got the Jirachi and I've got the Zamazenta, like I need to get the whatever else, I'm gonna get the Celebi or whatever. Like I think there's the potential there for it to really captivate me, but I think my current feeling is that it's a set that I'm not going to think too much about, and really my entire focus is on the February set, which will bankrupt me.
I think that's a good point in Pokemon in general right now, though, but you do have to kind of make decisions on sets, don't you? Like, you kind of have to go, actually, that one, maybe, like you say, maybe I'll buy a booster box for the channel, or, if you didn't have the channel, maybe you'd be like, I'll forget that one, and I'll wait for this next one. You do have to kind of make decisions on sets, because otherwise, one booster box doesn't really, I don't know, feed the hunger, does it? You don't get that many cards.
No.
You can't collect all the rare ones. Whereas if you buy a load of it, like it sounds like you are in Feb, you could have like a real massive load of fun and try and collect the whole set.
Well, we've tried doing it with recent sets. We tried doing it with Hidden Fates, didn't we? And we still, we bought 50 Elite Trainer boxes, I think it was, and we still didn't get every SV card.
50? No, Did you pull the Charizard?
So this is my fun story. I opened it on a video for Tom's Takeover Thursday. Opened, I think it was 2 of the Elite Trainer boxes.
Yeah, we did 2.
And then finished recording, and we was going to open the rest just to see if we could pull it. The first pack I opened off camera, I was like,
of
great,
course.
Yeah, thanks.
Of course.
Classic Tom.
Every time it happens, literally every time. I did pull the ripped card on camera though, so that was good.
The ripped card.
Yeah, so I opened the Elite Trainer box, pulled out a pack. The pack looked damaged. I opened it, and it was like pretty much already open in the Elite Trainer box. And there was a card that was ripped pretty much in half. Turned it around, and it was the Aether Foundation employee Shiny Vault card, like full art. I was like, great. So then I set fire to it on Instagram.
See, I never saw that. I always thought he just opened the pack and ripped it, and then went, "Oh, Connor, this is ripped." And then,
are you sure that's not the cover story? Like Pokemon, give me a refund.
It sounds like one to me.
It's on the channel.
Sounds like one to me.
It's on the channel.
It sounds like cover story to me.
Go check it.
I guess, obviously, Toby, I don't know too much about your card collecting history or anything like that. Obviously, I've seen your content on Birdkeeper Toby. But I guess a question from us would be like, have you always had a card fascination? Have you always been collecting cards in the background whilst doing your Birdkeeper Toby content? Or where does that?
I mean, I'm 1994, right? That's when I'm born. So I'm that prime area of Pokemania, growing up in that, growing up with red, blue, yellow. Actually, we rolled into gold, silver pretty quickly, I think, here. But that whole Generation 1, 2, the hype, the amazingness of it. I had cards from my childhood. I remember very fondly pulling the Fossil Hollow Dragonite, and that being just a really treasured memory of mine, being around my grandparents' house. I got traded when I was younger, a Shining Magikarp and a Shining Celebi, and thinking not too much of it. I remember trading off a Dark Hypno Hollow for a regular Dodrio because it had more HP. Because you're a kid, and that's what you do, and there's that kind of magic about it. And I kind of stopped around Diamond and Pearl. I think throughout the E-Series, the EX era, my parents were buying me every theme deck for a little while, from Ruby, Sapphire to Emerald. And
does that include Holland Phantoms?
It didn't include Holland Phantoms. I know you're on the hunt. But that was a really nostalgic and good time for me, where I think a lot of people my age were maybe going out of Pokemon a little bit, but I'm like, I'll give you my lunch money if you bring in your Pokemon card, and I didn't eat lunch for years. But
that's cool to hear, actually. I like that. I like how even past the what, because obviously I dropped out after what's it personally, and well, actually I didn't even bother with the E series, and I carried on living my life. And it's pretty cool to hear actually you continue to, because the EX stuff in my head I can't even remember it being in shops, but it's quite nice to hear that you continued collecting it.
I loved it.
Obviously, yeah, that was the biggest era for you.
And EX Team Rocket is, I mean, I've done a whole video on this. Like, it is a set that just has everything going for it. Like, it's the kingpin set in my mind of the whole of the Pokemon series. I stopped a little bit in Diamond Pearl era. I remember I got those first Diamond Pearl theme decks. The layout of the card was different. They're doing levels on the cards. I don't really care. Stopped for a bit. And then it wasn't really until X and Y rolled around, the advent of POKETUBER, me starting Pokemon on YouTube, and going, oh, I would love to make Pokemon card videos, and I got an XY tin, and I got into it, and I've dabbled with Pokemon card videos throughout. I've been very, very generously, Pokemon have kind of invited me to a couple of little card events. We've done pre-releases, that kind of thing. I had a really good time with Celestial Storm. I won that pre-release and got the golden Rainbow Energy, which has actually gone through you guys, off to the world of grading. And yeah, and then really Hidden Fates was the thing that kicked it into overdrive, and I think got a lot of people, including myself, like, oh no, this is, I'm back in. I'm back in.
We hear that a lot. I think Hidden Fates just like captivated anyone who maybe was half in, and they just went full in, didn't they? As soon as Hidden Fates came in.
I kind of like Pokemon. Come here.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It was like,
I really like Pokemon now.
Yeah. Hidden Fates was an amazing set though. It was so much fun to open.
It was insane. It was like nothing we'd ever done.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we've opened stuff like Generations and stuff that has that kind of second slot super card.
It's not the same ballpark, is it?
Not every
and the odds were reasonable. Like 1 in 4 you get a shiny Pokemon, that's cool. 1 in 10 packs you get a shiny GX Pokemon, and it could be the Charizard. And I think the Charizard legitimized it for a lot of people. That £10,000 sale or dollar sale that was
BGS Black Label,
the BGS Black Label. That sale, I mean, that single sale, I think fueled a fire for people of, oh, I'm an adult and I have expendable income and I'm allowed to buy this because it's worth like 10 grand, even though it's not. But I'm allowed. So, you know, my partner won't mind if I buy some Pokemon cards for myself. I'm sure we'll treat it as an investment. And I think this last year, like the Logan Paul stuff is not the cause. It's a symptom of the whole last year of snowballing. And, you know, and even that's just a symptom of like, a few years earlier, X and Y, Pokemon Go, all that stuff, and it's just keeps going, you know?
I totally agree. With the Logan Paul, everyone always says, oh, Logan Paul's done it. If there was nothing there for Logan Paul to grab, if there wasn't the momentum behind it before anyway, then the videos would have flopped.
Logan wouldn't have bought a £35,000 booster box.
No, but he would buy a $250,000 one. So, because it's in his range, it's in his radar, and because he liked Pokemon anyway, then that's a plus. But yeah, he'd never open a $35,000 box on his YouTube. That'd be pathetic.
It's so dead.
He spends more on oobs.
Cars,
like
what, sorry?
Like those little oob things.
Orbeez?
Oh, Orbeez.
Yeah,
there you go. He spends more on Orbeez. I have no idea.
I like an oob.
But yeah, like I think you're absolutely right that he had something to grab there. He had momentum in the whole Pokemon world, and I think even he said on a video it was like these things are appreciating. Of course, I don't think his knowledge base was amazing right there, but you know, that was happening naturally without his
involvement.
Yeah.
I mean, Logic didn't buy the card and the box because Logan did. He bought it because he wanted it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, yeah. So what are your let's jump into it. What are your thoughts, Toby? Then on this crazy last month, how have you seen it in your eyes?
I've loved it. You know, I mean, I won't get into like. Because I think I, as well as a lot of people, had very conflicting feelings about Logan Paul as a character. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into that stuff because, you know, people can change, I guess. I'm not getting into it. But the point is, I have loved, regardless of how it's happened, I've loved seeing so many people getting excited about Pokemon cards. So many of my friends who throughout this lockdown, you know, oh, how do we socialize again? Oh, I don't want to message people first. I don't want to be difficult. Suddenly there's this oh, great, they're just going to message me about Pokemon cards, and I'm going to message them. I'm in contact with so many people right now just over this shared love, which is fundamentally why I started my channel and where all my good friendships come from. That bonding over a mutual love of something, usually a video game, and in this case, Pokemon cards. So I've loved it. I've loved seeing the growth. I don't think we're in any world where it's like a bubble that's going to burst. I think it's more a knock-on effect. It'll keep on going. There might be dips. I'm sure there's always dips for individual cards, and base set Charizard specifically is seeing a lot of love and attention right now. I wonder whether that'll, I don't know, maybe dip for a bit, then go back up. But eventually, ultimately, the prices of these things will continue to go up. And I'm just happy to see so many people into Pokemon cards. And also, people our age, going, oh, and while I'm out buying base set and fossil for myself, I'm buying packs of cards for my kids or whatever. And it's great. More people are going to continue. More people continuing to fuel this thing, which is like so healthy for the whole ecosystem. And ultimately, it's become acceptable that next year, when lockdowns are over and pandemics are done, I can go over to friends' houses and go, "Hey, crack out your binder, let's have a look."
Fingers crossed next year.
Yeah. No, but I completely agree. I mean, it's the way me and you know each other is through Pokemon, like originally, and there has been so many people that, obviously because of Graded Gem, have messaged me from things like Insomnia and EGX that have been like, "Tom, which Pokemon cards would you like say that I buy?" And every time it's the same. I'm like, buy the ones that you like the look of and you can afford. Can't give you any other advice, but no, I completely agree. So many people are coming together over Pokemon cards. I think it's great.
I think Pokemon's a unique collectible as well, because you can come in at any level.
Yeah.
You can just go for the modern stuff. You can go for beaten up Watsy stuff. You can go for you can come in at any level depending on what your budget is. It doesn't actually matter what level you come in
and what you want.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're enjoying the Pokemon cards, it doesn't actually matter what level you're at. And I think you can always bond over the fact that you have a Pokemon card, even if it is an oddish.
Well, there are Instagram accounts I follow that are like, I've got all of Watsy PSA 10 first editions, but there's also Instagram accounts that I follow that literally are like Meowth collectors.
Yeah.
Like, or do you know what I mean? Like specific Pokemon, or I've just completed Hidden Fates SV49 and I've SV49.
The submissions,
all of the cards.
Yeah, the submissions that capture our attention sometimes are ones with cards which we don't see very often.
Because they're underrated.
Yeah, exactly. And off to those cards, they could literally be a really cool looking uncommon Persian,
right,
from XY black and white set. Like that's the sort of cards we go, oh wow, look at this.
We had someone submit 8 or 9 Zigzagoons at one point, and it was like the weirdest submission, but it's what we talked about for like a solid 10 minutes. Like,
I mean,
what's happening there?
Going back to this kind of Logan Paul thing, when you've got kind of that much money, and he kind of, I know he did these over the course of a month. It was like, okay, here's the box, here's the sale, and here's the completion of my collection, which is the Charizard. And I'm sitting there going, while it would be nice to have that much money and to be able to buy those cards, wow, if my collection was over in a month, that would be so sad. Like, for me, it's not supposed to end. It's not supposed to. If I won the lottery, the worst thing that would be about it is that I'd be able to afford any Pokemon card, and that's kind of troublesome because there is something so satisfying about when you finally trade up and you get a gold star, or when you finally you've kind of got this trade together and you've wrangled that perfect thing at a Comic-Con or something with one of the vendors, and they're like, all right, we'll take this and a bit of cash for this. I enjoy the hustle of that, and I enjoy the process of trading with people. It's like, you're sitting there doing like your negotiations. I love it. I think that's so uniquely part of the Pokemon trading card game experience, and so kind of to have that much money, sometimes I almost think it kind of hinders the hobby down to the most expensive things, when you're right, there's uniqueness in the most common of cards, or the most obscure of cards.
I think that also stems from the games. You remember when you was young, you had red, for example, and your friend had blue.
I had blue.
Yeah, okay, so you had blue, I had red.
Yeah.
Like, we would have had to choose a specific day. We were both going to go to school or go to each other's houses, have our Game Boys, have a link cable, and it'd have to be like a procedure to actually collect them all on your game. And I think it's the same with cards. If you could just go, I'm just going to press A and I've got a complete Pokedex now because I've got money.
Yeah. There's got to be a challenge to it and difficulty. Yeah. I think if you have a challenge to collecting cards, that's going to keep you in. Like, at
Oh,
the end
yeah.
of the day, those primes still aren't finished after 3-4 years. And that's the challenge. That's what I
keep
love.
giving you more and more cards for your collection.
Yeah, you're very annoying. But I mean, at the end of the just full stop. But at the end of the day,
that's fair.
That's the whole point. If it was as easy as going out there and getting cards that were, you know, and that was it for your collection, you want something to be a challenge. You don't want it to be a 1 month thing. What do you think? Do you think he'll come back to it, or do you genuinely think that's it now? He's got his Charizard.
I hope that he's got a taste and he wants more. I can't speak to his character. I don't know. Like, I hope though that he kind of goes, I'm still thinking about Pokemon cards. Like, the last month was really fun, and like, I want to get more of that. And if so, you know, he is surrounded by hopefully people who are on the internet, like Randolph's there, like, hey, let's be friends, you know, and you're kind of like, welcome to the world of EX Team Rocket or Gold Stars or anything, you know, just like, because there's so much out there outside of WotC.
1,000 booster boxes of the 25th anniversary set. I want to see him like do like the craziest, biggest thing for it, and just be like full Deriums, but even bigger.
Wow.
I think he could just do a video a month. I found it interesting. Look at his views that you can see. It would seem the Pokemon videos did on average better than the rest of his content, which I think is an interesting point in general. Like, his subscriber base, you wouldn't normally think would be that interested in Pokemon cards, but those videos were laid out so well
Another
that
thing
they're
is
interested
longer
in
form content for him.
Yeah.
His videos are only like 4 minutes long, but those videos are like 15-20 minutes long minimum.
Yeah.
Plus that live stream was like 5 hours or whatever.
But that initial video was done out so well. First
so
edition, you know, PSA, BGS, and STI, whatever he said.
It was made in a way that really appealed to because we all know that, and you've talked about it before, that groundswell of Pokemon fans who are here and ready to appear at the Pokemon Center in London, or ready to go to Worlds, or whatever. Like, everyone's here. We you know, and not just the hardcores like me, but the casual people who have maybe enjoyed it in the 90s, enjoyed Pokemon Go. Everyone's ready to go, and I think what that video did really well is, and something I can struggle with my content, because there's an assumed level of knowledge. Oh, you all understand what a Mareep is and what level it evolves and this, that, or the other, for example. I don't know what video I'm doing on Mareep, but there's an assumed level of knowledge, and what that video was really good at is sort of triggering that thing in people's brains that, like, Pokemon cards. Charizard, base set, yes, I remember. Straightforward, simple messaging, simple. It's just really, really masterfully put together.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we definitely have that problem on this channel, where we think everyone should know everything about every Pokemon card, and then we're like, oh, that's actually not the case. So
especially lately.
Yeah, especially lately with all the new people and you know, the PSA grading process. I mean, it's as simple as putting a note in your package, and sometimes we don't convey that as often as maybe we should. Because, you know, from our opinion, it was nice and simple anyway. But then when you've got new people who don't even know much about Pokemon cards, and actually the whole grading process in itself, you know, these cards are still going over to the US.
Yeah.
I would say that it is difficult, because you kind of assume that your viewers watching it already have that level of knowledge. And for him, he really did have to bring it down to the base level. See what I did there? Because that's the only way his audience was going to engage with it.
Yeah. It's true. Like, he's made it cool, hasn't he? In a word, he's just made it cool.
Yeah. And I think a lot of collectors used to hide, or they used to be on Instagram and they used to post like once every 5 days, but now you can flaunt it in a way. You can push it to the front of everyone's feed. You can be like, wow, look at this stuff, and people actually appreciate it. Whereas I don't think before this whole craziness, there was definitely less appreciation. As much as I would love it, from general people's eyes would glaze over.
Yeah.
If I was I'd be like, oh, I run graded gem. People are like, good for you, kid. Whereas now people are interested in it.
I think I see from a lot of people maybe some dissatisfaction in like, but the hobby's changed now, and you know, things cost more, and you know, you guys must hear that all the time, and like, I get that, I do see that, but I also think that was maybe inevitable. Maybe it wasn't going to happen so fast, but it was always coming. I think that Pokemon cards was going to have this sooner rather than later, and I'm sure it will have many moments in the sun again down the line. I don't think this is it, one and done. But yeah, you know, I can understand the dissatisfaction, because I think everyone felt like a lot of people who were in the hobby felt like, but this is our thing, and this is our a club, and there can be a little bit of gatekeeping, and it's like, I'm sorry, is actually a worldwide phenomenon, but that's why people love it so deeply. And I really welcome everyone, no matter who they are, with kind of open arms to the hobby and say, hey, you like Pokemon cards? Great, wonderful, join in.
Yeah, no, that's the message to have. And obviously, when I was collecting these cards 3-4 years ago, the values weren't up as a discussion topic. Like you said, you'd make sure negotiations and trades were on decent par value. But if it was 20 quid here or there, you wouldn't really care. Whereas nowadays, I think there's definitely more of a focus on value. There's downsides and upsides to that. The upside is more people get involved, more people show their love for Pokemon, more people collect. And I think in general, that's just positive. The negative side to it is you do have a backlash of the old school collectors, for sure, of people being like, well, blah, 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 blah. But actually, I think you have to move forward from that perception. I certainly have.
Yeah, I think a negative for me is it slips into everything though. Like, so it's not just in Pokemon now, which is huge, but like,
I know what you're going.
There are little things out there, like every kind of trading card game now.
It's just the Harry Potter stuff.
So Harry Potter, I've nearly sorted. Nearly, that's coming soon.
Okay.
Like Digimon has gone crazy because Digimon are releasing a new card game. I struggled to get a Medabot booster box the other day. A show that probably most people haven't heard of.
I've never heard of.
Disney stuff is going, DC and Marvel stuff is going, Star Wars. Like everyone's like, I need every single trading card now because it might actually be worth thousands of pounds. And I'm like, yeah, but do you love it? I still want people to love what they're collecting.
I'm still of the opinion that like you need to be in love with this hobby to be able to, if you really want to get businessy about it and maximize your profits and stuff, you need to understand what each set meant at that moment in time, who grew up with that, why something like, I've been talking about it a lot on the channel lately. I really think that the tag team sets, any with tag team Pokemon, are something that when people grow up, if I was a kid, Mew and Mewtwo together on the same card, like, oh, that's awesome. And this whole era, and while all the people are out collecting Hidden Fates, and sure, like, okay, that's clearly where money's at. What are they buying their kids? Well, it's a Cosmic Eclipse, it's these other sets, and it's the kind of thing that, like, if you just look at, like, oh, well, Charizard is worth lots of money, so I buy Charizard, what you end up with is a situation where essentially you're buying Bitcoin long after everyone said, but Bitcoin's worth loads of money and it's already shot up in price. And I think if you really want to understand, like, also I got a golden Zacian card that was worth a decent amount of money when that came out with Sword and Shield, and I traded that off for a damaged Gold Star card, and I was a couple of people were like, really? But like, it's a damaged gold, and I'm just there like, yeah, absolutely. For me, I understand what that moment in time meant and why Gold Stars in particular are just like, that's not coming back anytime soon, and like why this Zacian in the grand scheme of things is, it's cool, but it's nowhere near as cool to me personally. And I think if you don't have that kind of knowledge, you're making a lot of very baseless decisions or copycat decisions, and that's not necessarily the best way to make money, and there might be easier ways for you to make money out there than jumping into the hobby.
I like the Bitcoin reference, how you said you're buying Bitcoin after everyone's already told you it's amazing. I think you're absolutely right there, and I think that might be a small problem with the Charizard market.
Yeah,
100%.
Is that, other people have gone Charizard's amazing, and then everyone's gone Charizard's are amazing.
People who don't even know what they are, they're like, oh, I need that Charlizard because it's worth £1 million.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that they're going to crash and burn or that they won't continue to appreciate in value. I think I saw a post on Facebook. Someone said, and I don't know how true this is, so fact check, but that if you bought Bitcoin other than a single weekend in a few years ago, if you bought Bitcoin at any point, it's still appreciated in value. And I think similar is the case for Charizard. If you buy it, it will, of course, it'll appreciate in value. But this big boom that's just happened, you kind of missed the boat a little bit on that kind of growth. I think.
Oh, 100%. Like at the end of the day, I bought my shiny Charizard for what, 2.5. I don't know what it is worth now, but like it's not. If you bought it now for let's say it's worth 20, it's not going to be worth 200. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, so when obviously I bought that like 4 years ago, and that was that's my biggest expensive purchase out of a single card.
Is that PSA 10 shining?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's upstairs. It's
Okay.
Very
it's
cool.
gone. But yeah. So like, but at the end of the day, those sorts of cards that were available to me back then for 300 quid that are now going for thousands, it kind of like blows my mind a bit. Because I kind of, well, I wouldn't have been able to buy that when I was just working at Sainsbury's, like, and it just shows you how much the hobby's evolved
And it's taken years
to acquire those items.
Yeah, like it's not like you're not going to go out and buy a load of stuff and become an overnight millionaire from your profits.
No,
Yeah,
sure, absolutely.
Like
not.
you're straight not going to do that.
So you're absolutely right, Toby, when you say about having love for the hobby and having knowledge. I bought these things 4 or 5 years ago when I was just buying them because they were cool Pokemon cards, and I really enjoyed doing that. And you have to have that initial feeling before just sinking money into it and hoping it's gonna continually appraise. Like when I bought my cards, it was not for investment reasons, but if I bought them now, it would be considered investment.
I gotta say,
at this point, the money's too big.
I really appreciate the fact that you're agreeing with me on a bunch of stuff, because one of my biggest things, the kind of that imposter syndrome coming into the, okay, I'm gonna put myself out there, I'm doing Pokemon cards now, is, oh no, the graded gems and the SM Prats, they're all gonna see me and they're all gonna, what if I sound really dumb with everything that I say, and like I've felt nothing but welcomed into the kind of card community in general.
I think it's super hard to be judged if you actually love the cards.
Yeah.
And
that's what come through on this video for sure.
That's it.
And I think your analysis actually has been spot on.
Well, can I ask? Okay, so this is I did buy something for investment reasons, and I kind of try and separate collection and investment if I can, because I mean, and then I'll buy stuff for investment and I'll fall in love with it anyway, and it's like, okay, well that's not leaving.
We call
yeah. But I bought a booster box. My analysis being that if I buy, and it's my one box, it's EX Ruby Sapphire, and my thinking was at the time, this is a box that right now it doesn't have anything like huge in it, but it is the first Hoenn box, it's the first non-WotC box, it's the first EX box, 2 prize Pokemon. It's a moment in history. And that's the kind of thing where I think a lot of people would maybe jump off and go, oh, it's not WotC, whatever. Or it's not got a Charizard in it, whatever. And my thinking is like, but you gotta, this is a moment in history, and, I bought this, and it's already gone up, naturally over the last couple months. And it's something that I'm looking to hold on to for about, for basically whenever I buy a house in 4 or 5 years, or decide to get a deposit on a place. That's my hope, is that it'll go towards that. And I think that's a sensible decision that I've made. And that was kind of my thinking, is this is a moment in time.
Investment isn't a bad thing. I think it's been seen as a bad word because there are people who've come in and just doing 100% investment. When
term as well.
Yeah. When I started card collecting, I was buying and selling cards like you don't know what. I was one of the biggest sellers in the UK. But what I would do is, if I had something like the primes or the Delta Species or first edition sets I was going after, if I got those cards, I'd be like, they're part of my collection now, and that's it. But buying and selling is no way a bad thing. Actually, trading is the fundamentals of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Trading card game, yeah.
I think the problem is you can, exactly. You chuck in return on investment, you chuck in words like that, and you have stock exchanges now, which I've seen all over the internet with Pokemon. It just changes the game a little, especially in perception. And perception is always important.
Well, I've been really happy to see that with a lot of these big events, especially the ones being held by YouTubers, charity has almost always come into it, and I'm seeing a lot of people doing these box breaks, but we're going to do charity, and I hope that that's the kind of thing that's helping that perception, where people go, this is still at the core of it's fun and supposed to be a positive in the world, and I think that's coming across, which I'm happy to see.
Yeah, even Logan Paul did a charity thing, and Leon Hart as his charity mental health
huge
is massive. And there's massive props for that he's got this massive channel, but he still puts that forward at basically every opportunity he's got. And I don't think that's the community as a whole is that way minded and is that positive, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
There's very few negative people involved who are just about cash and money. But then again, the people who've been successful at it do have an interest still. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. But I think you can have an interest, but it don't have to be solely self-fulfilling. I think that's what Pokemon is. Like the story where you gave away base set packs. Like, do you know what I mean?
Why do you always bring that up?
No, as in like,
that's
who's
nice.
going to do that now? But that was always a part of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'd give away, or like I know when I first moved in with you had like a stack of hollows that were sleeved, and if someone bought a card, they'd get a free hollow from like a random set,
Yeah.
or a sick rare reverse, or like a reverse hollow, and you're like,
yeah, I did used to do that in every
Yeah,
eBay
yeah.
purchase. So what you'd have the normal cards from like box breaks back in those days, and you'd sleeve those up, and then if anyone bought a PSA graded card, you'd put that back in the envelope
Yeah.
and send it off. And I think those little gestures do a lot for the community as a whole. And YouTube content now and Instagram content, that's where it's gone to. It's going, thanks for using our service graded gem, and here's some content for that.
Yeah.
And that absolutely is great for the community, and it helps a lot. And then you've got the big boys like Leon Hart and Randolph, and now Logan Paul swinging the mantle for the whole hobby.
Getting everyone more subscribers and getting everyone more content.
Have you seen Leon Hart's doing this thing? He wants to open up a shop with base set packs at original retail price. But have you not seen about this? He's tweeting a bit out about it. He's bought a bunch of base set blisters, and wants to open up a shop for a day and have people be able to buy that 90s experience, have the whole shop like that, and have people buy these blisters at original retail price. Obviously limited sales per customer. And it sounds like something, honestly, you can see he's taking inspiration from Mr. Beast here, which is great because Mr. Beast is my favorite YouTuber on the platform. And if he can pull it off, I'll be honest, I think that will be just immense. That video would be incredible.
I think we'd fly to the States for that. It'd be cheaper than the Logan Paul pack.
We're in a pandemic.
It would be cheaper than the Logan Paul pack, which you bought.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, I'm lucky I was watching that. But I hope you have fun with it anyway.
POKETUBER. It's good fun. But yeah, Tom made that decision by himself, and it's a silly decision.
Oh yeah.
Not true.
No, I mean, yeah.
It's that was cool to be involved. I think the reason why we got involved with that was because it was an event.
Yeah.
And I think a lot more of those events are happening. Like you say, if that Leon Hart event goes ahead, that will have an impact. Similar impact to the Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think we should just take this all with positivity. There's a lot of negativity in the world right now. We're all locked inside. It's not the most fun. And it's not, is it?
No, not at all.
And I think at the end of the day, if it's an escape from the world to be opening up some packs, hell, you might even want to grade them with graded gem. Then why not enjoy that and why not create this content for people to enjoy?
Even this, like, I mean, this is something that obviously, if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, I would have loved to have just like come up for the day, do this at your offices, and kind of just play about with Pokemon cards for a little bit. Wow, like that just sounds like the most fun. Hopefully, that's something to look forward to in the future is just hanging out with people and playing with Pokemon cards. Like, that's all I want to do. Just let me do that.
I can't wait until conventions are a thing again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I want to literally go take some boost boxes and just open packs with people.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, keep both packs.
Oh my god, we could do so. Or flip.
I have been thinking.
We're not doing flip and rips ever on this channel, or ever.
Do it.
Well, you can do that yourself. I'm not affiliated.
I would not subscribe personally to that. No, I've definitely thought, like, once everything's back to normal, Pokemon card meetup in London. We'll just get everyone together, bunch of the regulars, bunch of the mutuals, get them all hanging out. Everyone brings binders, everyone brings some things, and we'll just have the best day just chatting about cards and doing trades.
Clefairy doll mascot.
Yeah. We'll bring the Clefairy doll PSA graded 8. But yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what the community needs is more people getting involved.
Yeah.
I think even with our videos, we want people when they get their returns, so maybe even yourself, Toby, when they come back, to actually do your own returns video.
Oh, I will be. Yeah, I will be.
Studio space for people to come and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm going to be doing that, and I'm working on my final submission for the year for you guys as well. I'm just kind of waiting for Vivid Voltage to come through and then getting it out that same day, so it hits you guys on time.
People doing that.
Yeah,
we're gonna have so much post that day.
I feel so confused that it's not out yet, considering we opened it.
Yeah.
It was like, what? Yeah. on them.
But yeah, that's it's been really good chatting to you, Toby.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for agreeing to doing this TCD.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Card dork.
Trading card thought.
Trading
And
card
guys,
dork.
honestly, Card Keeper Toby, he does this sort of content all the time, and as you've just heard, his analysis is actually top. And I've not disagreed with him, so that's pretty cool.
Well, also at the time that this goes live, there will be a video with you guys up there right now, and we'll be talking a little bit about you. I want to hear about your stories, but yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thanks a lot, Toby.
Thank you very much.
We'll keep talking.